Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Paint Minis Live. I'm your host, Bill T. I'm a little bit tardy to my own party tonight. Was going to start at 6:08, but that's all right. Or 6 o'clock. It's 6:08 now. We had some weather rolling through, and I was out doing some projects the other day and like over the course of the weekend, and there was a couple of tools that were outside still, so I had to go pick them up and bring them back in. So I was a little bit late, but because I didn't want them to get rained on. Anywho, neither here nor there. Tonight we are still working on our Morgan's Men at Arms project. Um, Tonight I'm hoping to finally get like the last nitty gritty details of these guys done, and it's kind of been the thing that's holding me up. Has just been basically the detail part of this. I've done like a lot of the base painting already. It's mostly there. I did catch a couple hours that I was able to paint just sporadically, like in half-hour intervals. Just come down, do a couple of them, and drop it, go, come back. So it's all some semantics at the end of the day. Boils down to paint time behind the desk. So what do we have to do today? Let me get my other camera rolling here. If I do end up disconnecting, it's probably because of the weather. It looks like there's a decent amount of rain coming down and some thunder and lightning out there a little bit. But we'll just see how it works. Welcome, welcome. All right. Just trying to get my desk cam functioning here. There we are. Okay. Now we can bring this in. There we go. And we can switch that out. Nice. Lovely. Okay. So here's our project. I'll just kind of move this guy out of here. I don't think I'm gonna need the keyboard for tonight. I'll get my palette out and we can go ahead and begin. I think just taking some inventory here. I think I've got like maybe 3 shields I gotta do tonight. Maybe just a couple other things on the docket. At least for like the big ticket items are, yeah, 1 shield, 2 shields, 3 shields that I have to paint so that they kind of match each other. Let's just take a look at this guy as an example. I did a whole bunch of shields while I was out on break earlier, like maybe a couple of months ago, maybe a month or two ago. I don't know. It's been a little while. But yeah, so I did up these shields with the tree and a nice little icon on them, and they went real well. So I've got 3 of those shields to do, and I think at that point it's down to 2 more faces I have to paint, and then just stuff like gloves and the other bits and bobs that they've got going on. So, all right. So starting off, let's see, is that still wet? No. So starting off, I think I'm gonna do the trees. So I know at least for that paint recipe, I'm gonna want to get light umber and dark umber. It's usually kind of my go-to for like wood or anything that represents a tree. Those 2 colors really work well together and they show up pretty decently. So we're gonna go down that route. I'm gonna put there you go. I'm gonna put these guys on the paint shaker and we can get rolling. Do I have my phone down here? I should get us some tunes too. It's always good to work with some tunes. So I'll just put on a little royalty free, whatever you want to call it, so that YouTube doesn't get angry at me. All right. I think I've got a good playlist. I kind of tend to reuse the same one, so I'm just gonna maybe, yeah, okay. So here we go. Yeah, I'll just put that on in the background and we can vibe out a little bit. All right. So dark umber on the paint shaker. Nothing but a simple little nail lacquer shaker from Amazon. It's usually my go-to for shaking my paints. Saves my wrists for other important things. So I'll just stick that on there for a minute or two here. How's everybody doing out there in the world? I hope you're well. Wonder if anybody out there's done any gaming recently. I was kind of slated to go and do some gaming tonight, but I'm so far behind on this project that I really needed to just make sure that I put some dedicated paint time behind these models because they'll be leaving very soon. Like I've got my fingers crossed that they're going to be out the door this week, and I keep saying that, but I really wanted these to be. I really wanted these to be some of my best models yet that get sent out to the dungeon minister because he's a nice guy. It was really nice while I was in Canada. I got a chance to um, I got a chance to go to dinner with him, and it was really fun, you know. And so I wanted to kind of send him a little bit of an extra thank you for showing me around his neck of the woods. So I don't need too much. Probably just a drop will do. I'm just doing these by dabs here, little dabs of paint. It's kind of my preferred method. And a little dab of light umber. We can probably get working. One of the shields is already kind of like this guy's arm came off in transit, so I think that's where we're gonna start. I'm gonna just get my camera a little bit further over for my comfort. There we go. I think as long as that holds, we should be good. There we go. Okay. Now we're in business. Um, and you guys can kind of see what's going on. Feel free to jump in the chat if you'd like. Ask questions, whatever you want to do. I'm a pretty open book. I can tell you anything and everything you'd like about, at least to my level, anyways, of miniature painting. Um, Need to get back with Kenny Boucher. I've been taking lessons with him, but I've recently stalled out just a little bit because I've been on the road a lot. So I'm just going to kind of fill this tree in, this dark brown. Looks like I've got a little bit of a mist brush stroke here. So I'm just going to use some water and kind of dilute the paint out of it. Usually I kind of hit a groove. It's been there we go. If you catch it quick enough, you can usually use a little bit of water and just kind of straighten it out. There we go. All right. That should be pretty front and center. I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet here. I'm just taking my time, concentrating. I worked really hard on getting a nice dark gradient on these shields. And I'd like to kind of keep that as much as I can. So if I kind of drop out, I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to make sure that I get some good coverage. All right. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that on each one of these quickly here. Kind of using the edge of my brush, and we're doing this on a raised detail, which is always, in my opinion, better than trying to do it on a like freehand. Not quite as good at freehand painting quite yet. It's its own beast. It really is. Okay. Off to our third shield. I tend to work, at least when I'm doing batch painting like this, I tend to work um, just one color per item and then move on to the next. All right. Very light brush pressure too. Taking my time with these little branches here. Trying to just barely kiss them with the paint. Usually at this scale too, because these are true 28 millimeter. I think when I ordered them, I should have maybe tried for like 22 millimeter heroic. Would have maybe been a better choice, but that's okay. They came 28 millimeter true. I did request that they were in 28 mil. I just forgot to specify exactly that it should be heroic. I just realized this guy here had maybe a little bit of loss of paint in transit. So I'm just going to fix that up real quick. There we go. Nice. And then we'll just go back to the first one we started with because it's probably dry enough now. And I'll go on to mix, maybe do a little mix here, like 25% of the previous color. Just a little bit. Try and make somewhat of a gradient out of it. That's good. Now we can kind of wet blend in our highlight color, so the light umber, while it's still wet. I'm going to leave like the bottom half of the tree, that darker color. Try and get the branches the more lighter color. It isn't looking too bad. Let me, this is pretty small. I'll give you a quick beauty shot and then I'll pull back out a little bit. So you can see just, it's a very subtle kind of transition there from the darkest color to the light. But again, we're working at a tiny scale here, so I'm going to give myself maybe a little bit of breathing room. And, you know, fudge just a little bit. The quality is there. And I'm going to repeat the process all over again. So mix probably about 25% of the previous color in with the highlight color to kind of make a mid-tone. I'm going to paint the trunk, the mid-tone color, and the branches, the mid-tone color. And then I'll go ahead and just go dip right into the highlight color. And I'll just get kind of the top of the tree here. So there we are. Pretty nice, huh? I think this is turning out pretty well. I could probably maybe leave it with a little bit of a tighter shot. We'll just see how that works. I tend to, as I'm painting, I'll pull the model towards myself, especially on small details like this, but I think we can get away with a tight shot if I'm careful. All right. That looks pretty good. Go right into our highlight color. I'm a little overloaded on my brush here, so I'll take some paint off. Nice. Okay, cool. I think that looks good. All right, we're off to doing the kind of whatever this Whoa, that was kind of a big batch of thunder there. So now we're doing this braid that's across the shield here, and this I'm just gonna do in like a yellow. What I found, at least with so my favorite brand of paints is Monument Hobbies. By the way, thank you Monument Hobbies for being a partner for the Paint Minis Live web shop. That's right, we've got a web shop. It's a thing. You can find all of their products on the Paint Minis Live web shop. And if you've got other people out there that are in the hobby world, say the Dungeon Minister or uh, the Dungeon Delver or D&Disability or Wolf Brother Hobbies or um, we've got Bear the Genx GM, Bandit's Keep. You can go get their affiliate link from them, enter the store, and then they get a groovy percentage of the sale sent off to them. So you get a physical product and you get to support your favorite content creator that deals with like hobby and tabletop miniature stuff. So isn't that swell? I'm going to start with warm yellow here. This is a great base for doing yellow because the yellow that Pro Curl has is a bit thin. It's still totally workable as like a highlight color, but this golden yellow works really well as kind of a base coat. It's a little bit thicker, and it'll kind of just stick to your model a little bit better. Yellow is kind of like I think like white and yellow are really hard for paint companies to kind of get get right. It's a tough gig trying to paint yellow or trying to make a yellow paint. I should say it's just tricky because it is very thin. So this will usually take a couple of coats, but I'm just gonna go over the entire braid here. Try to be as careful as I can not to have it run too far over the areas that should be yellow. And who knows, maybe I like this enough that after all the coats are done, um, decide to just keep it. They're so small, like the tiniest little chevrons. All right. So we're starting off with that. There we go. I'm gonna maybe change this to be a little bit closer to me now because this is progressively going to get more and more difficult on my eyes with these tiny little details. All right. By the way, thanks for joining me tonight. It's always nice to have a little company while I'm painting. If you like what you see, feel free to do all the YouTube stuff. You already know what to do. Like, yeah, tonight I was supposed to go play HeroScape at the local game center, and I'm just a little bit behind on this project. But I have a poll going on the Discord, the Paint Minis Live Discord, if you're interested. You can go ahead and go and vote what you'd like to see up next on the show after this project is over, which is going to be a while, but I'm just going to use that poll there as what to paint next. So if you're into HeroScape, You want to see it painted, it's on there. I think the choices are Warhammer 40,000, Ultramarines, um, BattleTech, mechs. I can paint those up. And what else did we have in there? Another dragon. So far on this channel, I've done 2 dragons of various scales. The first one was a Grenadier, an old school Grenadier dragon for Bill Sylvie. And then I painted him another one. It's like a silver dragon. As kind of a thank you because he helped kickstart the channel, kind of. So that ended up being a couple of really cool projects that I was able to do. But I do have another. This one's another old school dragon. It's from Essex Miniatures, and so I've got that in the voting block as well. I think I already said Heroescape. Oh, and then there's more D&D monsters and creatures to do always. It's never a short supply of D&D. D&D monsters to do. These are like the tiniest little chevrons. They're so small. They're like smaller than a grain of. They're basically like pulverized sand particles or something. They're that tiny. At this point, I'll just be happy to get the idea across that they're there. Okay. Since this yellow paint is so thin, it's very easy to just it dries very quickly too, which is kind of a benefit. Okay. So tiny shields. What's next on the tiny shields? I need some red. And I'm not gonna go crazy. I think I'm just gonna go and say like just put regular old red on it. Most of the time I'm doing stuff, I'll do like a dark color underneath a lighter color. At this scale, I'm just gonna say screw it, and we're just gonna go with red off the gate or off the bat. This is a really nice red color. Their Pyrol red from Monument Hobbies is like, it's really good stuff. It's just a very blazing hot red, and I enjoy it. Okay. So we've got our bit of red here, and we've got our shield. Now it's time to kind of make, ever so carefully, some like red hashes in here. I'm not actually going to be able to do every single braid in the line, but trying to make it look like it's got some rhyme or reason to it. Usually I can kind of just catch a raised edge very lightly with my brush, and it's enough to kind of make a bit of a um, optical illusion that there is indeed a red part of that braid. So there we go. And now I've got to try and follow the pattern here for the other shields that I did. So here's one there, the one in the middle. One at the edge. There we go. And that's our, I think that's our shield here. Couple of jewels on the crown, ever so tiny. And I think that's it. Yeah, okay, cool. So we got that. Now we just got to go through and do it 3 more times. Okay. That one's looking pretty good. I think I can call that a success. I didn't get the little jewels on the crown, did I? It's okay. Just gonna sneak them in. There we go. Okay. So after these shields are done, the shield's like the big main part I wanted to get done tonight. The rest of it I can, I can kind of handle bit by bit, but the shield kind of, you got to do it all in one go on these sculpted shields, in my opinion. There's another one knocked out of the park. I'm just checking the rest. Got to make sure. I think that's all 3. Okay. That was big. That was a big move. What's going on, Charles? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got 5 live chat lounge cats in the studio. How is everybody doing? Currently working on shields for Dungeon Ministers project here. I actually just got done with those. We're kind of down to um, some of the other details on these guys, but they're looking pretty sweet so far. Okay, so the armor's done. Looks like some of them need. Yeah, it looks like some of them might need a little bit of work left. I think I used this golden brown as kind of their base layer underneath their armor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get that on the paint shaker so they look like they have a shirt on underneath their armor. It's the little details that count, right, friends? The little details. What you been up to, Charles? Anything fun? Hope you've been well. Just waiting for the paint to shake up. I think the other thing we could do is probably use. Okay, what is it that I used for that? Was it burnt sienna? I might have used burnt sienna. Oh, it's burnt orange. Yeah, burnt sienna, I think, was maybe what I've used in the past for that, or was it shadow flush? Might have been that too. We'll put it on there and see what happens. We're gonna use that for the leathers. Just having a little bit of brown, a little bit of red makes for a good faux leather. Okay. So now we just kind of got to go around and batch paint up these guys with a little bit of. Carefully paint in some clothing on them. Let's see if I can bring this in a little bit. There you go. I'm still using the tiny brush mainly to just help to try and mitigate from over applying paint here. Luckily, I know this kind of golden brown color has really good coverage, so I probably won't have to do a ton of coats. Just doing a little concentration here. I check the chat again. Trying to squeeze this paint into little nooks and crannies while avoiding previous work. There we go. It's kind of what I was going for anyways. Kind of a nice golden brown shirt underneath his armor. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's do the rest of them. Luckily, this guy is the dude with the shield that got lopped off, so I get a little bit of breathing room. I tend to move the model more than I do my brush. Um, it keeps my brush hand much more stable when I'm painting, especially small details. You see a lot of YouTube, see a lot of YouTube painters painting in a similar fashion. I don't think they move their brush around the model; they move the model around their brush, and it's just a kind of a stabilization technique, so you don't make as many mistakes. It's all what works best for you is kind of the name of the game when it comes down to painting. Whatever works best for you, whatever looks best for you, go for it. Your tabletop ready might be different from my tabletop ready, and that's like a okay. As long as you're having fun painting, you've achieved your goal. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like to paint. I can totally understand that. And there's some just gamers out there, just want a game, and that's good. Gamers got a game. But if you're painting, you should be painting for the fun of it? Okay. That guy's done. So this guy's kind of got, he's got a nice face to him too. I have a couple of these to do tonight as well. Uh, so we are on our way. Again, if you're interested, go out and support some PML affiliates. Here's a link for you. You can scan that with your phone to check out the affiliates of PML. There's some great people. If you're interested in content, these tabletop minis and that kind of thing, you're probably interested in stuff that they're doing. These are all, tabletop uh, role play experts in their field, so to speak, and they're all a part of PML. So I'd appreciate it if you want to check them out and just see if any of them strike your fancy. They're great people, and they've helped Paint Minis Live kind of become what it has today. I can't thank them enough for it. They make the wheels turn. Again, just kind of concentrating in here. Sorry if I'm being a little quiet. Still moving stuff around. So now I have another shelf empty, ready to buy more stuff. All right. Well, hey, I'm doing well. I'm sorry if if I didn't see your message, if that, I don't know when that came in. But if you're still here, I'm doing well. We've got some thunderstorms moving through the area, so I was a little bit tardy to my party here. But yeah, things have been going pretty good. Still busier than heck, and trying to paint as much as I can when I can. It's just, small 30-minute or less spurts some days. And trying to devote some time to painting can be a little difficult with the day job. That's all right. We're here. We're doing it now. All right. And I hope you're well too. It sounds like you've got some extra space on your shelf. Maybe you can find some new stuff to hobby down on a little bit, which is always good. We're blowing past this stage. I think we've got quite a few of these guys done now. We've got like 4 or 5 of them that are now kind of all dressed up. They're looking a lot better too. Three, three, it looks like. Yeah, I kind of like the extra breakup in color that the. Okay, see you later there, Charles. Thanks for stopping by. I'll hopefully see you in the next one. But I like the this kind of golden brown breaking up the quite a bit of green that's on here. I think it's a nice little change. But it's not these guys are kind of monocolor color scheme centered around green. I think this is actually looking pretty good. The details. The details are kind of where miniature painting slows down. You can base coat some minis pretty quick. Get a decent color palette on them. Especially with an airbrush, you can make, you know, gradients and other things on them, but then you start doing detail work and it's like it can take a while. It can take a little while. But all of those details they start to add up and then like the final composition makes for a lovely, lovely looking piece. In my opinion, I think, you can even argue that it adds a little bit extra to the game when you have some really high quality minis on the tabletop to add um, a little bit of narrative representation, a little visual stimuli to your epic adventure. I might even put some brown wash on these guys. I don't know. We'll see. Just a little brown wash to give it a little extra pizzazz. Plus, at this stage, when you're doing these small details, um, it ends up being a bit more of a zen process. I find myself kind of speeding through all the other parts, but here, on the other hand, I'm really focusing in on just picking out these little details and trying to be careful of the previous work that I've done. Gives you plenty of time to think and ruminate. Very nice. I think that isn't looking half bad. Well, I can safely say that one thing I am happy to hear is that AI won't be able to take over miniature painting anytime soon. Kind of a lame attempt at humor there, but hopefully it's humor nonetheless. Yeah, I don't think I'm even gonna attempt that on you. He's got his shield so close to him. I don't want to like screw up the other paint that's in there. All right. I had a fun time over the past couple of days. I was over on Lazy Mini Paintings channel just a little while ago, chatting it up with him, and then Bear the Genx GM too. I was over there, kind of just chatting it up with him and some guests that were there. Game Masters was there. Um, what else was there? Uh, Flamingo, I think his name was, and then there was also uh, Bear and myself. A couple other people dropped in later on. Um, but you can probably find that over on his channel if you're interested. Talked about all kinds of crazy stuff. it was a good time though. Oh, shit. Whoops. Get a little get a little butterfinger on there. Good thing I didn't paint the rock yet. uh, that's almost as bad as like those GW pots. Have you ever accidentally spilled your mini into paint? Has it ever fallen out of your hand by accident? It's almost like spilling paint out of those Games Workshop pots. Oh man, those things are difficult. Luckily, I was able to salvage this guy. I'll probably just cover it up with a little bit of gray. Yeah, we'll be all right. Damage, not too much damage there though. So I have added to the new web shop, the one that's yet to be released. I have added a new commissions tab, and when the site launches, you'll be able to schedule an appointment with me should you want to get your stuff painted, whatever it might be. Um, and we can have a little 30-minute one-on-one session to figure out exactly what you're looking for and talk all the good business stuff. I'm really excited about that. It interacts with my personal calendar, and that way I'll always be free, or like free to do meetings. When I put something in my calendar, it just kind of takes that day out of the rotation, or that time slot, I should say. I think I might go back over this guy's kind of armpit area. Didn't quite take as well as I hoped it would. Very nice. Yeah, I think this guy's basically got it going on. Two more left to go. Hey, what's going on, Grumpy Old? It's Grumpy Old Slan in the house. The party may now commence. Slan, my man. How you been? Hope you been well. Saw you over, I think, on Bear's channel. It was the last I saw you. I was over there. You invited me over for a little shindig. I think you were commenting on there or something. We're currently trucking away on these warriors for the Dungeon Minister's campaign here. I've been trying to get these guys ready to ship for like weeks now, and I just have had a struggle with trying to get adequate paint time down here. That's okay. We're kind of like on the last stages. Just posted a new Weird Tales video. Okay, well, I know what I'm going to be doing later. I got to go check that out. Very nice. Glad to hear that you're trucking away on some more videos. I really enjoyed the reading that you did. I think I commented on that video, but I am a sucker for a good audiobook. And it was well narrated. I enjoyed that. The little short story, I thought it was perfect. It was a bite-sized munch of an audiobook. Sometimes I get lost with audiobooks, like I'll get the plot going part way. I'll fall asleep on it, forget where I am or some such other nonsense, and then like have to pick it back up again a couple chapters earlier. But with something like that, I'm able to listen to the whole thing in one go, and that was kind of nice. I enjoyed that. All right, down to one last dude, one last guy for shirts. They all have a shirt on now. Well, this guy's done. They're all done. They're all done, friends. Thank God. All right. So now they're all basically dressed. I'll look at my master model here. Looks like I just kind of kept carrying the boot on up the back of the knee, so I'll have to kind of try and replicate that a little bit. So I'm gonna try with some maybe this burnt sienna here. I think is what I was doing last time. I have to go get my passport renewed for October. I'm really hoping to get up there, Slan. I am really hoping to get back up there. This time with a bit less equipment, though. I learned my lesson. I really did. I don't think I need to pack all that. I think I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna kind of just come and enjoy the show this year, and maybe pack pack some models, and have a good time. Yeah, carrying all that stuff last time was like nuts. It's like I don't know what I'm gonna need. I've never been to a convention before. Goes to a convention that's literally 1,000 miles away with a truck loaded down full of painting equipment. And the miniature painting version of Heisenberg or something at the border. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely am. I think, yeah, yeah, I definitely am gonna be scaling that back quite a bit. You just don't know till you know. I guess, like learning little lessons, little lessons. I do want to make like switch this over real quick. I do want to make like a nice display case though that I can put my models in and like put it out as a little exhibit for people so that they could kind of like check out what PML do and maybe put some of my works in there. I think that'd be really cool, like an acrylic. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's definitely one of my concerns as well. I am like I'm hemming and hawing at if I want to reserve a hotel or just try and like bite the bullet and do it right before so that I know I can go. Lord knows where that actually ends up, in a couple months' time. But I'd love to come see my Canadian friends up there and have a good time playing games, being together with everybody up there. It's just such a blast. It's so much fun. Where was I here? Yeah, yeah, burnt sienna. Something about burnt sienna. I feel like I need to turn that into like some kind of classic rock song. Burnt sienna. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, this whatever this music is a little dark for painting models. Like I don't know where this came from. I'm just gonna skip to the next one. It's like strange, weird trap music. There we go. That's something that sounds at least a little bit lighter. All right. So we got burnt sienna. Now it's time to do some boots. You know what? I can get away with a larger brush than this. I don't need the teeny tiny 18-0. I can go with like a number 3. Um, are you thinking you're going to be coming from Montreal again there, grumpy old? Oh, I just realized I don't even have the Ah, that's great. Okay, now you can see what I'm doing. Here, watch me bow my head as I paint models for the next 30 minutes. That wouldn't be entertaining at all. It's I'm planning to be there. Sent the dungeon minister the blurb from a game last night. Nice. Yeah, that's right. You're doing Gamma World. Sick. That's right. I did see you at when I tuned into his stream too. Sick. Yeah, nice. I am excited to hear it. Are you doing like a module from Gamma World, Slan, or are you doing like homebrew? Kind of just doing boots. Homebrew, homebrew it is. Nice. I don't know if you know Slan, but maybe you could help me out. I've been under the impression for a long time that and I think it might be true. I don't know if it is true, but I have a feeling that the Fallout series of video games that were done by Bethesda was basically kind of just a rip of Gamma World, like almost pretty flagrantly, just a kind of a rip off. That was they just added in a little bit of their own spice, enough to kind of differentiate it, but like it's basically Gamma World, right? In a nutshell. There are some similarities, but quite a few differences too. Gotcha. Ah, okay, okay, gotcha. All right. Well, that is a pretty big similarity, I guess. Yeah, I could give that to somebody for sure, that makes sense. That makes sense. I do find a lot of similarities, which is kind of entertaining. Um, it's always kind of interesting to see. Yep, definitely the mutant thing for sure is one that they have in common. Um, Robots, I believe, to an extent, they've got some robot things that are kind of similar. Is power armor in both of them too? Is that a thing you can get in Gamma World? I've only ever seen Gamma World play. Played. I haven't really dug into the rules either, or like some of the more backstory-ish stuff, but or lore stuff, I should say. Just giving my fingers a break here for a second. So I move on to the next guy in the group. Okay, gotcha. Really rare to see in Gamma World. Fair enough. Fair enough. So I don't. Are you a part of the Paint Minis Live Discord there, Slan? I've got a I've got a poll going. I'm just curious if you're part of that. I got a poll on the Discord right now of what to paint next, and I've got a whole bunch of options up there. It's basically my pile of shame right now. Um, I've got options from Warhammer 40,000, Ultramarines, BattleTech mechs to paint, uh, more creatures and monsters from the Dungeons and Lasers box that Cal sent us, which I hope Calvinoni is doing well. I haven't seen him in for a little while, but I would, if you see him around, let him know I said hello. We've got more stuff going on there, and then another dragon's on the chopping block too. Yeah, nice. I'm not. So go and vote when you have the time for whatever you'd like to see next. Does give me a little bit of sense of direction though. Sometimes if I don't know what to paint, I'll just never hurts to ask. But that's going to be after this project, and I think this project still entails. I have like about 18 more of these guys that are going to get painted up in a different color scheme. Um, I've got what else do I have? I have a fallen version of Lord, or what was his name, Count Cormac, and then a like a trebuchet. We've got a or a catapult, excuse me, to essentially paint up, and that will close out this chapter for PML, and we'll move on to something totally different. More sci-fi. Yeah, yeah. I have been kind of stuck in the fantasy figure realm a little bit. Not gonna lie. It's mainly just kind of I think a lot of the projects that I've done so far have been done a lot of thank you stuff for some of the affiliates, like the OG crew that was around kind of at the beginning. I think it was Dungeon Minister, the Delver, and who else was it? Um, RPG Grandma. She didn't get a project, but she really needed some paints, so I bought her the entire starter set for uh, Pro Acryl. So we got her all the colors that she needed to kind of get a jump on some of her painting projects that she wanted to do. And then I moved on to the Horde of the Damned, or no, what was it after that? It was after I got done with Sylvie's Dragon, the Grenadier Dragon, that I started on the Horde of the Damned, and then an extra thank you piece for him, which was my second dragon. He got two dragons out of the deal for helping kind of kickstart the channel past like 12 people. And then we did the Horde of the Damned for the Dungeon Minister, and then Cal's dwarves came in because he needed some help with his collection, so we did some of that stuff. Yeah, yeah. RPG Grandma is like fine people. She's great. She's absolutely wonderful. Uh, what else? What else do we do? Not really. Yeah, I mean, I did do some like 40K stuff way back at the start of the channel. I did some 40K stuff, but I haven't really dipped my toes back into that. Um, I've contemplated on kind of like what to do in the sci-fi realm, but like just like on hand, most of it's 40K. I do have like Halo Flashpoint, so that's kind of sci-fi, and then BattleTech. I have a starter box full of mechs that I'd love to paint as well. I think that'd be great. But I think this project in total is going to take me into uh, basically into Clericon. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's kind of crazy. I think I'm going to have all this time in the summer to do projects and things. And then summer hits and everybody's got cabin fever and they want to bring you along to do, go fishing and do projects or help them move. I did that on Saturday. I was hoping to stream on Saturday. Ended up going to help my neighbor move, um, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but it did kind of take out a little bit of time at the painting desk. Yeah, I do like the sculpts that they have for BattleTech. They're really cool. Plus, got the laser cutter, so I could maybe do something even more elaborate with a project like that. Do instead of like um just painting the minis, I could do something like painting the minis and doing a terrain table, like a little do like some scenery to go with it and make some like sci-fi buildings. I think that could be kind of fun. not too much further to go. These minis here, I think it's just down to the leather works. Things like their boots, things like their gloves. Make it red brown and call it good. Maybe a little edge highlighting here or there just to spruce it up a little bit. These guys are just so close to completion. Can almost taste it. Like, I mean, it's literally just a couple extra hours, and these guys are going to be ready to be packaged. There's a small sci-fi con this coming weekend. Got people coming over to my place for it, so won't have much time. Yeah, family stuff, setting up new computer. Oh, a new computer. There you go. Tons of projects. Yeah, yeah, you've got yourself booked too. That's a very true saying, though. Life is what happens when you plan things while you're planning other things. I just think this is going to be really neat to see Dungeon Minister and the heroes of Honeywood fight alongside these minis on their epic adventure against the Horde of the Damned and Bargle's bad guys. I think that's going to be super cool. All right, one more dude's got boots. These boots are finicky because I don't want to like get paint all over the other bits of the bottle, but like I said, we're getting so close I can taste it. Has the smoke been getting to you and getting to you in your neck of the woods there, Slan, at all? No, there's been a decent amount of wildfires going on, but I don't know if they're anywhere near you. Um, it's pretty smoky down here today. We're catching a lot of smoke from the wildfires up north. There's a few large ones in the state currently. All right. It's our last dude for boots. All right. There we go. I guess we can kind of just work on their swords, and then these guys are pretty close to done. There's a couple of them that need faces yet to be put on them, but mostly out west at the moment. Gotcha. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I think we're gonna maybe we'll do some hilts because I can use the same color for the hilt, and then just a little bit of brown for some gloves. The details, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. What do you call the day after 2 days of rain? A Monday. There you go. Yeah, we've actually it's been dry down here, man. That's kind of been the thing. We just got a decent amount of rain dumped on us like tonight. Um some decent like thunder going on out there. And before I came down, it was just pouring. I was working on some projects on our deck. We rent the place we're at, but I'm currently trying to just clean it up. It's like no one's really cleaned that deck in forever and a day. And so I had a whole bunch of tools out there that I was using to clean the deck. Um, and like a power drill and a leaf blower, whole bunch of stuff. And I totally forgot about them. Like I started working on them prior to the stream. I went and had a snack after being at work all day, and uh, I left them. I left them out there, and I was like, "Oh, I'll come back in and grab them before the stream." Totally forgot about it, and then Miss PML was like, "Hey, there's tools outside, and they say it's gonna rain in like 10 minutes, so you better go go do that." And I was like, just about ready to head downstairs to the painting studio. Nah, nah, gotta go do that. Otherwise, your tools are gonna get rained on. Uh, but I was happy to have the rain. Like, honestly, everything needs it. It's been quite dry down here. Yeah, right. They're on like trees or other plants for sure. That's a good one. Looks like we've got one more sword hilt or like handle, I guess. Handle, I don't know. One more to go. Nice. These are like some of the final pushes that you do just at the very end of these projects. Um, they they can become some of the more tedious parts of the work. It's probably like, I don't know. I guess if I were to like make an approximation, I guess, and I don't really know uh, what exactly writers might find tedious, but it to me this is a point where you're going through like revision number 3 of your book before you're about to toss it to the uh, editor to finally do the like last edits of your book. That's I guess where I would kind of put this. Um, because even though I've done a decent amount of painting tonight, I know that I'll have to go back through and redo some certain spots of these models prior to sending them out. And they've got to get sealed still too. It's another fun one. Making sure everything's ready for shipping. Sealing them up in varnish is kind of like the last step. That's when you know you're done. You know what? I think I can get away with a bigger brush. We're on to the gloves now. Just gonna keep naming body parts and hemming and hawing halfway through this. Just focusing up a little bit here between these little armor panels. There we go. It's A little extra tedium. So I think I'm probably going to get through doing the gloves on these guys, or at least getting them base coated tonight. I don't think I'm going to get through the faces. Those actually take a while to do since I've kind of got to layer it up. So I don't necessarily think that's going to be happening tonight, which is okay. I could probably schedule another stream for tomorrow after about the same time would be my guess. And kind of finish up just a few more of these details. Then I can go ahead and seal them on my own time. We'll go ahead to, before we wrap up, I'll go ahead and get a little beauty shot so that we can kind of see how our project has progressed over the course of our session here. these guys are not looking half bad. Much better than when we started, at least. That's for sure. I think there's like two more dudes to do, and then yeah, after that, I think it's just down to Q&A and a little bit of wrap up on at least for tonight's stream. Probably got two more streams to do with these guys, maybe. I don't know how much more I'm gonna want to do on them, but I think we're even more so on the home stretch than what I estimated like a week ago. This guy's kind of a two-piecer. I've got his shield around somewhere, and that's where his other arm is. Good enough for me. Just do the back of his arm here. And that's where I'll call it for the painting part of tonight's entertainment. We'll do a little Q&A before I wrap it up totally. For those who may or may not want it. All right. Just leaning you up against a paint bottle. There we go. All right. Well, if you made it to the end, thanks for being here. It was kind of a long one. It's tough to kind of make a lot of commentary doing these really small details on miniatures. It can just be a little bit. Um, you want to focus in and make sure that you're being really stable and getting getting your brush into the nooks and crannies that you want to, all while trying to be entertaining and making a show that's essentially about watching paint dry worth watching. And sometimes it doesn't quite work out like that. But we'll do we'll do some quick beauty shots here, and I'll get us nice and zoomed in so that you guys can see kind of how the project is actually progressing maybe a little bit more than just the usual bird's eye view here. So we get nice and frosty on the ultra zoom. So here's uh, our current fighter that we have. Like a couple. This guy actually needs some even more work done on him still, but he's getting there. So kind of a nice blonde color scheme with this guy's hair, and he's turning out pretty well. What else do we got? This guy's looking pretty good too. This was kind of a salt and pepper take for the hairstyle. This the gradient for the like kilt, I guess I'm gonna call it, and the cape on this guy turned out really, really well. I think he's looking as one of the brighter group in the bunch. Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will put out a video on how to varnish your models. At least for me, I always shoot it through an airbrush, so it'll be interesting to see. I might have to take a dummy model and do that with like a standard brush first, and that way I can teach it both ways. Since I know there's some people that paint just strictly with a regular brush, and some people who paint with an airbrush. But I'd like to teach it both ways. But yeah, these guys are looking very nice. Yeah, this guy needs his kilt, I guess, done up a little bit better too. Maybe just some edge highlights or something. Kind of a part that I missed there. The hair came out pretty well though. Not bad on the hair. And the shield was turned out nice as well. Yeah, kind of fun. So, yeah. But that's a good idea there, Slan. I'll make sure to go ahead and put up something soon about that. It seems like people had a good reception to the last couple that I've been doing, so definitely worth the time investment to make it happen. And yeah, so thanks everyone for being here with me. If you were just stopping by, or heck, maybe you're in the replay and you made it this far, or uh, you know, you've been chatting ever since. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Grumpy old Slan. Thanks for being here for so long. I appreciate the company. Uh, and thanks to Charles Latoro earlier for chiming in, saying hello. Always good to see friends in the chat. So, with that being said, I think I am gonna go ahead and head off here and find me some grub somewhere. And yeah, yeah, all right. So take care, everyone. I'm Bill T here with Paint Minis Live. I'll